Hello and welcome back to the meta64 podcast. This is a podcast where I interview creators about what they do, why they do it, and who they do it for. And today I'm happy to have, I believe, around 19-year-old Ghostie Says Boo on the show today. Ghostie is mainly a Minecraft streamer, and I believe they've dabbled in some varieties of it before. So welcome to the show, Ghostie. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've got to say the thing though. I need to say the thing.
What's the thing?
Boo.
You really did just leave me on a cliffhanger just to say boo, God almighty.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Hi. Well, welcome to the podcast. It's an honor having you. I was actually very excited to have for your episode.
I'm very happy to be here. Let's go.
Right. With that said, let's get some boring questions out of the way. Who are you? What type of content do you make?
Oh goodness, that's a big question. I do a lot of Minecraft primarily because that's just a game I really enjoy. But I also really love indie games. And stuff like pretty much any game to be honest. It's just been a lot of Minecraft because I like it. But highly recommend smaller indie games as well.
So if I showed you Portal 2, would you play that?
If I could, yes, I'd love to play Portal 2. I can't, however. It's very sad.
Yeah, because of Apple's little proprietary. We'll talk Max later.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
why do you make content, and how long have you been doing this?
Oh
Wait,
goodness.
I already asked the first one. Wait, no, I didn't. I thought no, I
I
didn't. I
did.
didn't. I'm
I did.
disorganized.
You're good. Let me think. It's been over a year. I think was it June? I think it was a year in June or July. So it's
Mm.
been a while. And I originally started just because I liked watching content creators and always have. I first originally started making content when I was 13, or younger than that even, with
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft. And then it wasn't till like a year and some odd ago that I actually started making, streaming and making content as Ghostie Says Boo. And it's honestly just started as something I thought I would try. It'd be interesting, it'd be fun, because I don't like editing, and I always wanted to do Minecraft content. So I was like, hey, I could stream. I wouldn't have to edit then. So I tried it, and then I fell in love with it. I just love the idea of just kind of being there in the background for people who need background noise or just need that sort of content, because I'm that type of person who I constantly have to have something in the background, so I very much enjoy and strive to be that kind of content creator for others.
You want to get the podcast feel while doing a Twitch stream? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's honestly been one of the big things for me because back home my internet is really bad, right? So the video quality isn't the best. So it's really taught me how to kind of be focus on audio, just talking and having a good time with people. And that was I had to learn that. That was the only way for me to grow as a streamer with bad video quality. So it was very interesting.
That's a really interesting point of view to begin with. I don't think I've heard any other streamer on the podcast say that. By the way, no one else has brought up the podcast feel for their
Hmm.
streams, and you're the first to do that. So that's very interesting. And I have heard that idea before. I just haven't heard it here.
Hmm.
It's a really good way of thinking. So, how
Yeah.
did you land on your current username and branding? That's a question I can
Oh.
ask you, but not ask myself. I don't know where I got my name from. Hopefully, you do.
That's fair. It's a really funny way I got here. Originally with my branding, I knew I wanted to do something with ghost because I thought it was really cool and emo, all that. Um, but I didn't know the specific name. I just kind of knew ghost. And I'm a person who I spend a lot of time on the internet, right? And so I see a lot
Mhm.
of things. And one such thing was a Tumblr post. Bear with me.
Mm,
Bear with me. Okay.
I will.
And it was talking about how why ghosts say boo in media and all that. And I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it was talking about how boo comes from some Latin term for I alarm. And that whole post, I was just like, haha, ghosts say boo. And I was like, hey, that's actually really cute. but I had to make it cuter, so it was Ghosty Says Boo. And that's just it was a combination of being emo and Tumblr, which is a very frequent combination for many people, but it worked out well.
I wish I had the same type of like story for my username. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine having a boring username. Boo, sorry. Mm.
Oh wait, they said boo. Like they're
Oh, I did. That was unintentional.
they
I'm
said the
just so
thing.
I
They
said
said
the
the
thing.
thing.
I
They
said the
said the
thing you
thing.
guys.
Oh my god. All right. Is content creation something you want to do for a very long time, or is there gonna be a hard limit for you?
That's a good question. Um, for me, like, I want to do it for a long time. I don't know if I wanna do it for my career per se, but it's something that I love, and it honestly just brings me so much joy and so many opportunities and get to meet so many cool people that, like, yeah, if I don't ever have to stop for some reason, I don't think I'm gonna stop.
All right. I do enjoy the idea of not having streaming or YouTubing as a career. That is something I've been thinking about a lot more
Mhm.
recently as I've grown up. I used to think
Yeah.
that I wanted YouTube to be my career. No, I don't. This is awful. I love this job, but it's fucking awful.
Yeah, you gotta do some other things. Get the experience, have other experiences in life.
Yeah, exist outside of the internet. That's the best part.
Oh.
Right. So I've asked this to multiple other streamers who have come on this podcast, and you are going to be the last person to ask this, hopefully. Do you have
Uh-oh.
any plans to switch platforms anytime soon, especially with Twitch's current decision making?
Oh, yeah. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I do eventually want to switch more towards YouTube. It is something I don't really know how YouTube works with streaming. I know how it works with videos, but with streaming, I don't really know much. So it will be like a big change, but I do want to gradually move over, start putting out more YouTube content in like terms of videos and all that, before starting to kind of switch over with the streams, just so I have more of a basis of content there when I do switch over with live streaming. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see. But current plans say yes eventually.
Stick it on
Thanks.
Twitch for the time being, right?
Yeah, for the time being, till I can get all moved over.
Right. On the topic of YouTube, great transition. You personally, both publicly and privately, with me and other members of the Earthbound SMP, you've talked about how you're making a video for the SMP. What was the process of editing like for you as someone who's not really edited before?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm still editing it. It's supposed to come out sometime this month. It's probably gonna be late October. Who knows? But it's been interesting. I'm kind of used to editing in like the technical things. I've done a lot of editing for different sorts of content and all that, but never really in this sort of style. So it's been very interesting and a big learning curve to try to figure out all the details and put in so much more time than I ever have in the past for this sort of stuff. And it's been an adventure trying to figure out like what I want it to look like because obviously this is something that I love. It's very near and dear to me. And I want it to set sort of the style I want to go for on YouTube in the future. So it's been a big learning curve trying to figure out what that style is and how to, physically apply it to the video when editing and not knowing all the little tips and tricks, when I started. So I've learned a lot and I've still got plenty of learning to go, but it's been a process and I'm really hoping it turns out well. We'll see.
I'm happy that your first thought when it comes out of when you were going into making YouTube videos was like I like how your first thought was to edit it yourself instead of getting an
Mhm.
editor. I feel like me personally, and after talking to a lot of other creators through this podcast, I've noted that many streamers who outsource their editing, they
Mm.
don't usually have videos that uh, feel right for them. So editing it yourself originally and then getting an editor is a great idea. So I very much
Mm.
appreciate you advocating basically for doing that. But as an editor, yucky.
I'm also broke, so I can't really pay an editor.
Yeah.
I've gotta do it myself.
Same.
This is it's alright.
All right. Do you ever see yourself like going on to make more YouTube videos at all? Like, do you feel like it's gonna overtake Twitch, or do you think it's gonna be perfectly balanced?
Hmm. I don't know, to be honest. For me, like I enjoy videos. That's a type of content I typically watch. I'm not a big watcher of live streams, which I feel is pretty typical for a lot of live streamers, which is really sad. So I very much enjoy watching video content, and it's something I know that eventually I do want to create. But the problem is that I despise editing. So to put so much work into that, I don't know if I'll ever just do videos or have videos overtake live streaming. Just because I do enjoy streaming more. It's just more of that podcast sort of flow, it's very chill. Whereas videos, especially nowadays on YouTube, tend to be very high energy and very, snappy and all that, which is just not really what I want to go for. So we'll see. I don't know how it's really gonna go. I don't have enough knowledge of YouTube to have predicted it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm hoping to primarily stick with live streaming, probably.
Nice. All right. I warned you before we recorded this, so
Oh,
just
uh,
letting you know that. All right, as someone who has jokingly made fun of you for this, what is it like doing all of this content creation stuff with a Mac? How does it
oh
feel for you?
gosh. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. For the past hour before hopping to record this, I've been trying to figure out OBS settings
Mhm.
specifically for Macs, because my OBS is updated and there's all new stuff with Macs. I'm like, it's been, it's been a nightmare. To be perfectly honest, it's very interesting trying to stream and game on computers that aren't meant to stream and game. But I'm a firm believer in you gotta make do with what you got. So it's a learn, and I've spent a lot of hours researching and trying to figure out how the heck to make stuff work. Um, but it doesn't really bother me because I like to figure out, how stuff works and all that. But I get bullied plenty in VCs, so that kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, especially by me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially by you. This is a call out to you, for bullying me for it.
Right. Is having a Mac kind of a disadvantage to you? Or is it more of a strength because of all the built-in applications and stuff?
Hmm. Um, it depends. Like for content wise, I would say it is inhibiting, just because everything is more catered toward Windows, and just anything other than Apple. And it also limits the kinds of games I can play, which is very sad to me. So I would
Mhm.
say that is very limiting. But also with how my brain works, I very much enjoy Macs and the layout and the user interface and all that. So for stuff like editing and anything that's not specifically playing the game and streaming it, I think it's an advantage just because it helps me do stuff quicker than I do on Windows. So we'll see. I don't know. It depends on which realm you're looking at it in, but I definitely plan on getting a Windows in the future just to be able to stream and game better.
Yeah. I already noted the multiple built-in applications, but do
Mhm.
you ever find yourself using those for content creation? I know you use Final Cut, but
I
that's
do
not really
use
built in.
No, it is kind of reminiscent of the iMovie layout though, which is what I first learned. My first ever videos were on iMovie, on my iPhone back when you had to pay $5 for it. Those were like the first videos I ever made. And then when I got my first Mac, I would use iMovie on that, and I didn't have to pay for that one, and that made me happy. So it's the Final Cut is very reminiscent of the kind of layout, obviously a lot more complicated. But for other built-in apps, not really. I mean, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, so it's very much not something I use. So I don't know. But iMovie is a very good strength of Apple, I would say.
Yeah, it's not too bad to be fully honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you went into it super deep when at the beginning of this podcast, but tell me the story about how you got into content creation. Like what caused that?
Oh yeah. So it started probably when I was like 12. With Minecraft. It started watching Stampy Longhead on YouTube, which I feel like a lot of people know and love. But that's how it started, and I fell in love with that sort of content and that idea. So when a friend begged my parents to let me get Minecraft, of course, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to make that content because that's what I've seen. I love it. I enjoy it. I want to give that to other people. And of course, that happened. That was when I was 12, and it stopped for a while. But it kind of came back because of I'd recently gotten into watching live streams. Dream SMP was a big thing. I was really obsessed with that. I watched that stuff studying for the SAT, that sort of thing. So that was a big inspiration for me to try live streaming as opposed to YouTube. Which I think is definitely why I've stuck to content this long this time, is because it's live streaming, not editing videos. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was a mixture of that to first get me started. And it's been like just watching other content creators and how much of a role content has played in my life. Because I don't know about you, but for me, like I have to have videos playing constantly. There's a good chance I've got like 3 different tabs of YouTube videos up at any given time. It's very much just always been something I've done and had a part of my life. So having that content with me, 24/7 basically, really showed me the value of it, and it's been inspiring to me to try to hand that to others. So that's what I can think of.
Like, I get your journey. So, like, 12-year-old watching Stampy to you now, kind of as an adult making content for people on Twitch. That's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, pretty much. It started, high pixel Minecraft videos, man. Back in the day, that's how it was. And then it took a break, and then I'm back. You can't get rid of me for that long.
Yeah, you're a ghost. You just disappear for like a minute and then like, whoop, oh
I
shit, she's
know.
right,
I
she's at
wasn't.
my door.
Yeah, I wasn't originally a ghost. I won't tell you. I won't tell you my original branding because I'm sure you can still find it, and that terrifies me. So I won't tell you the original branding, but I wasn't always a ghost.
Oh yeah, you only got your ghost branding from Tumblr. Ooh.
It wasn't just Tumblr. It was being emo.
I love Tumblr. I right. As a fellow Earthbound SMP member, what about the SMP appeal to you? Like, what was it? Well, what was it that got you wanting to join in? Was it Josh or something else?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. Earthbound, I first heard of when it came to Builders University, which was another one of the things that Josh ran. And I thought it was really cool. It reminded me of like Minecraft Earth sort of thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a big thing. Like I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm a small streamer. There's no way." But as it got closer, I started hearing more about it from Josh and all them. I was like, "That's really cool." But I still just never really considered it because I was just like, no, I'm not big enough of a content creator. Like there's a lot of big names involved with this. I'm not going anywhere near it. But I did love it. I thought it was a good concept from what I heard. Obviously a big fan of Technoblade. So like the Technoblade SMP Earth videos and all that came to mind. But I was perfectly content just to watch it because I thought it was a really good idea, and I knew it was gonna blow up. But yeah, it was not until I think it was just like a week before launch, if that, where Josh asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and I was like, yes, please, yeah, like yes, you're asking me, absolutely, like man, what do I gotta do? And he made me design the country flag before he would let me in, and I will tell you that is the most stressful 20 minutes I've ever spent on Canva. I was like, it's gotta be good. Oh gosh, it's gotta be good. So yeah, it's an interesting story. Not sure how I got here, but I'm happy to be here for however the heck I'm here.
Josh did not make me make a flag before he
He
let
did.
me.
He did. I'm not.
He did it.
He did. He was like, well, send me the flag, and I made like 3 different versions, and
Mm.
I was in VC at the time, and I had messaged like some of my other friends. I was like, which one of these do you like best? And I sent them all of them. Like, please, this is really important. It was yeah, it was a time.
How do you feel knowing that, like, when I got invited, Josh didn't make me do any of this?
I'm not even surprised. I'm just bullied all the time, so it makes sense.
Nah,
It
dude, I'm
makes sense.
sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, it was good. I think I did a good job with the flags. So honestly, it worked out.
I
Obviously, it
think
wasn't
so.
terrible.
I think so too.
Yay.
So, you play a character on ESMP. Me and you, we do a lot of lore. In fact, I think you're probably gonna do some if you during your stream. Which, by the way, this is being recorded on the 5th of October, 2022. Ghosty probably is live almost probably by the time this recording's finished. It's not that important, but what's it been like playing your character on ESMP? Since you're a psychology major in college, has that influenced how you make your characters think, how your character's personality works? Does that influence it?
Yeah, that's really good. Yes, it very much has impacted how the character kind of has become that character. Because it was a very like subtle sort of transition from just me being a fool around the SMP and all that, and just having fun. And then when quote unquote L'Oreal came up, it was very much it started just as a funny thing. Just kind of like, oh, ha ha ha, oh, Dawn turned ratioed me on Twitter. Oh no, I'm gonna go on a revenge arc because that'll be funny. But studying psychology has had a major impact on the character. Very much so. I was talking about this the other day with some of my friends about how in psychology there's the idea of first impressions and how powerful first impressions can be. And I'm gonna nerd out a little bit here, but basically the idea that with first impressions, the first impression you have of someone you can change consciously, but a lot of times subconsciously that first impression will remain, and you tend to justify or rationalize a person's behaviors and decisions based off of your impression of them. And that was very much something that I accidentally ended up intertwining with the character. She very much is the type of person who, she decides, based on how you act towards her, if you're a good person or a bad person, and she'll justify or hate anything you do based off of that. So that was like a very big example of a psychological concept that got intertwined. It was all a mess. But yeah, that's one reason I love psychology so much is because I'm a writer. I love characters, so I love understanding how people and how characters act, and it's been a lot of fun seeing psychological concepts in the character and purposely putting some of them there and just figuring out some like, oh wait, that's what that's called. Oh, it's interesting.
Like, you're the embodiment of like people in school who say, "Oh, school doesn't teach us anything," and then you actually apply like the things you learn in school, like in your own work or something like that. It's really cool to hear about that. That is a very interesting point of view I've never really seen before. Uh, I feel like psych majors who should be more there should be more writers psych majors because then they can like write characters that like psych majors can kind of understand.
Honestly, like psychological thriller. That's what man, that's the best genre.
That explains why you're so into like psychological warfare as well.
It's a joke. My
It's a
career is on the
meme.
line right here.
It's a
It's a
meme. We're
joke.
joking.
My
My
career, please.
okay.
Ugh.
So, describe C Ghosty. Let's talk about her.
Oh gosh, that idiot. Oh, I don't know how I would describe her. She's oh goodness. She's very much stubborn, and I feel like I jokingly hate on her a lot, but with the idea that she's not fully at her best functioning, like brain-wise and all that. I can't really fault her for being a little bit dumb sometimes, but she's I don't know how I would describe her. I'm gonna be real with you.
How that's how I feel about C Meta, and also the whole joking, making fun of him. I do that too. He is a dipshit. That's
Oh no. I
like
won't
that
stand
kid's
for
annoying.
this.
That
No.
kid's annoying. C Meta,
That's
I
my
hate.
favorite character, man. What the heck?
He's funny sometimes, but annoying most of the time.
No, no, I disagree. I disagree.
Anyway, what has Earthbound what has being on Earthbound like felt like for you? Like how has that changed you?
Oh gosh, it's been It's been very surreal. I joke about, Builders University having been, like, my streamer childhood. Earthbound feels just like it feels like streamer teenage years, I don't know. It feels like the best years of being a streamer. It's been so much fun so far, and just getting to talk to and getting to know so many amazing, genuinely so cool people. And just having, like, so many laughs. It's been very surreal to be a part of. I never thought I'd be a part of something like this with so many amazing people. I was talking about this earlier with just how crazy it is that, like, such a community is formed around it and that people, really love it, really love the characters, really love the content, the lore, everything with it. It's very crazy to me, and I'm very thankful every day to be a part of it because I'm still amazed that I'm here.
Same. The people on that SMP are fucking amazing. Shout out Delilah, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Delilah, my beloved. Love Delilah.
Shout out Delilah. She's so cool, dude.
Love Delilah.
Like,
Man,
man, I can't wait to have her on the podcast. When I do, I will bring you up. Maybe I don't
please.
know.
Can I just, like, be sitting in the background occasionally just saying, "I love you, Delilah. You got this."
Maybe I'll slot you in just for the hell of it, just for the meme. Right.
Please.
Let's let's talk about content creation because that's kind of the point. How do you feel about modern content creation and by extension modern content creators? Have we peaked? Will content become more stagnant as the years go on? Do you feel like the brick walls in sight?
That's a good question. Modern content, I feel like, is definitely I feel like people are already kind of getting tired of what it is at the moment, where it's very much high energy, trying to keep short attention spans, very short form focused. And I think that you are seeing a lot of people start to miss the older form of content, which was a lot more relaxed and chill, and just more, you had a lot of more story based things. So I feel like people are starting to miss that. And I think we're going to start seeing a cycle of how content goes. You're going to have like fast content, and then people are going to get tired of that. They're going to go to like slower content. They're going to get tired of that. So I don't think there's ever really gonna be a brick wall per se. I think that people, as it goes by, people are gonna get tired of one form and move to another, and then get tired of that and move to another. So I think it's gonna keep evolving. Hopefully, gonna keep evolving and keep growing, and we're gonna see different kinds of content. But content creators, I don't know how I feel about them. But I know in certain circles, there's a lot of amazing people who are really talented, and I know they're gonna be running, the next biggest YouTube channels and all that. And it's interesting. I think that I don't think we should give up on content creation or content creators. For sure, I think that there's a lot more that we can all do, a lot more content to see, and I think that we're just gonna be seeing some changes in what content is, and I hope that a lot of the current content creators will be the ones to pioneer that, and
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. I'm very excited to see.
So something I've learned from being on Twitter and being around people who talk analytics a lot
Mhm,
is are you aware of like the Mr. Beastification of YouTube? Have you heard that term
mhm.
before?
I don't think I've heard that particular term, but it sounds familiar, the kind of idea.
Do you want me to like elaborate on it?
Yeah, please do.
So okay, so you know how like most Mr. Beast videos are like super high paced, current,
Mhm,
trying to hook eyes back in constantly. That like
mhm.
so that's kind of what's happening with a lot of YouTube, like super fast paced Minecraft YouTubers, like trying to keep hook your attention back in constantly. Like the
Mhm.
really high voice, like today I bought this $500,000 yacht, like that type of content. Do you get it?
Yeah, 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 that's a very good impression.
I'm a great Mr. Beast. Hey, Jimmy, just saying. If you need a replacement, just saying, just saying. Hi, I'm up here. So that's kind of the Mr. Beastification of YouTube. I feel like
Mhm,
I should like dedicate like a separate episode to just talking about that with someone who knows that. But
mhm,
that's kind of the gist of it. That
hmm,
so that's kind of what you described. That's kind of Mr.
yeah,
Beastification. If you needed that caught up,
that's a good term to use, thank you.
yeah.
Just like, "Today, in this video, I did" yeah, it's very high energy, I don't have the energy for that, no.
Neither do I. I'm not, and yet I'm the guy with the most energy in most places I exist. Whatever. So, on the topic of stats and stuff, do you pay attention to those, or are you more of a I don't care, man? I'm just gonna upload this video of me staring at a Canada Dry can. What do you want me to do? Type of person.
It's a mixture. Especially near the beginning, I never really cared. Because I mean, I have and I still am doing it because I love it. But definitely, especially around the 1 year mark, I was getting pretty focused on them. Just
Hmm.
because I was like, it's been a year, like I want to grow. Why aren't I growing as fast as other people? And it very much became this sort of cycle of like just staring at them and doing all this research, like what do I have to do, to get these statistics to go the way I want. But then I genuinely like thankfully pretty quickly came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter to me because I'm gonna be streaming anyway. Like I don't care if it's one person watching or like 7,000 people watching. I don't care. Like I'm doing it because I love it. At the end of the day. So honestly, you hear a lot of people say this, but just turning off that viewer count, it really does help um my brain just like not think about it. Like it's not something I care about now. I did for a little bit and it was very unhealthy. So I'm very proud to be in the position where I'm healthily being like, no, I don't care. Like this is something I love. I'm not gonna let, the judgment of whether other people like it, define how I do or whether I do it. So I've been in both camps, but I'm thankful that I've landed in the camp of I don't care. I'm just doing what I want. I'm going with the flow.
Based opinion. Right. So, from what I've seen of the Minecraft YouTube content creation community, the meta seems to be to create a TikTok, create an audience there, like create a TikTok account, and create a small audience there, then redirect them to Twitch, since Twitch has
Mm.
just disgustingly awful discoverability. Do you
Yeah.
think that that line of thinking creates stagnation within this side of a content creation community, or will it cause another revolution? Like, do you feel like the constant flow of people getting popular from TikTok to Twitch like incentivizes more people to do the same thing and therefore it works less and less?
Mm. Yeah, I think it's very interesting to look at because TikTok is such a platform that's focused on, keeping attention. It's short form content, so obviously it's a lot of high energy packed into a few seconds. And that very much affects, how those creators create content on other platforms. Because if it's an audience from TikTok coming over to Twitch, if they're not getting that high energy and all that they're used to from the TikTok, they're gonna leave. The creators are going to realize, oh, I've got to be high energy. I've got to, keep this same vibe from TikTok over here. So you definitely see where that comes from. I think it's very much dependent on that short form content. And I think that the more you see it, it still seems to be working. I mean, there's another person who blows up from TikTok every day, who you see on Twitch. So it still seems to be working. But I do think that more people, like I said earlier, are getting tired of that sort of content. So we'll see how it goes. I really don't know. But I think that content is kind of reaching the point where it's very much standard to have that sort of, high energy, all that, woo! And it's people are just kind of done with that, if that makes sense. Like
Oh, it makes
you're
sense, yeah.
obviously, yeah, you're obviously gonna always, have TikTok and all that, but I think we're gonna hopefully start seeing content creators, put their foot down and be like, look, I can make different kinds of content for different platforms. I can be a little bit more high energy on TikTok, but I can't keep that, energy up with streams all the time because I don't know how they do that. That seems impossible to me. So
Right.
hopefully, yeah, like hopefully we'll see the sort of difference between the platforms kind of come to light where TikTok has the high energy, other platforms might not. And hopefully we'll see that the audience is receptive of that because with all this high energy, I don't know how it's gonna go, man. That's a lot of energy with every single platform.
Do you feel like the fact that this has becoming the norm is like kind of gatekeeping from people who might not have high energy to begin with?
Um, I feel I mean, I'm kind of biased because I want to say yes because that's the camp I'm in. I think it
Hmm.
could because you see so many people blow up off of TikTok. It's almost always, high energy stuff. So if you don't have that sort of high energy, you don't tend to do well on TikTok, so you're not going to blow up off of TikTok and have that audience other places. so you have to look for that audience somewhere else. I don't know where that would be. So I don't know if it's really gatekeeping it. I think that with people who don't have that sort of high energy or don't want to make that sort of content, they have to find their audience somewhere else off of TikTok, off of, that sort of thing. So I think it's just a matter of finding the audience that appreciates your kind of content. And I think we'll start to see more people figure that out soon, hopefully.
Hopefully, crossing my fingers. Right.
Crossing my fingers.
What's something you want to see from like the companies maintain content sites? You know, like Twitch is Amazon, YouTube's Google,
Mhm.
whoever owns TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah, what's I want to see? Oh, that's a good question. Hmm. I feel like a lot of the platforms right now are very easily criticized for the support or the lack of support shown for their creators. With especially Twitch right now and TikTok, I feel like has always been known for this. Just the bad support for the creators, not helping them in any way. Twitch, of course, with their bad discoverability and bad decisions all around. Um, so I think those two, very easily criticized. With YouTube, I don't haven't really been keeping up with a lot of YouTube's decisions. From what I know, YouTube's been making some pretty good decisions recently, which is really good. So I don't know. I'd in general, I'd just like to see better support and help for the creators, especially when it comes to things like accounts getting falsely reported and like falsely banned all the time on TikTok, which is very damaging for those creators. Like that's something that's very, very bad. And with Twitch, of course, supporting their creators, paying their creators well, that's a big thing. And that sort of thing I think would really be useful for the growth of content and the growth of creators. So hopefully we'll be seeing stuff like that soon. I'd like to see it. I think it would be really good for content in general. I think it would very much better that. So we'll see.
Just letting you know, Ghosty. YouTube is not very good with their decisions towards creators either. They are on a win streak right now that I hope continues. But as someone who's been on their platform for a while, this will not last. Just saying.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember back in the day with the string of bad decisions. I stopped paying attention for a while after that, so I don't know what's going on.
Don't do this. Don't fuck it up, Susan. I'm watching you.
Don't do it, Susan.
So, anyway, all right. Let's talk about the future. It's terrifying, but also for
Uh,
me, it's very fun to talk about. It's really fun. So,
Fair.
what's a milestone you want to hit within the next year or so, Bessie?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, hmm. I feel like milestones typically are like defined in numbers, but for me, like honestly, I just want to hit a milestone of being at a point where I'm, able to do the sort of content I want to. If that makes sense. Like I want
Mhm.
to hopefully of course have some videos out on YouTube and being enjoying that. Genuinely like I want to be at a point where I'm very proud of, what I'm doing. Of course I am right now, but I wanna be at a point where I'm just vibing, I'm happy and that is the really only goal I have. Like of course, I want to see growth and all that because that I think that's what we want as creators just in general, but it's not the main focus. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I want to just go where I want to go. I want to be happy and if numbers follow, that's all right. I don't really mind. Like I just want to be at a good place.
Absolutely high W. Honestly, I'm happy that's one of your milestones instead of a number because like numbers we can look at and quantify and understand, but abstract ideas, the idea
Mhm.
of being enough for someone to make them smile at least. That's something
Yeah.
that really hits the spot. Makes you really feel like, oh shit, I did it good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but making someone smile is a lot better than a number in my book, so we'll see.
Fair point. It's great. So, what's a feature that you'd like to see from content sites within your lifetime as a content creator? Like, what's something that you feel like should have been obvious to like Twitch or YouTube that you think should be here soon?
Mm, That's a good question. I don't know. I know things in a perfect world I'd love to see. I'd love to see a world where I can use, whatever music is good. It doesn't matter, that's fine. But that'll never happen just because of how the world works. I don't know. That's a really good question. I honestly don't know enough about sites like that to say. Like, I don't know. I was surprised when YouTube came out with YouTube Shorts and everyone was like, finally. I was like, what? When did this need to happen? I don't know. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, with platforms like Twitch especially, we'll be seeing more discoverability features. That would be really cool. Be able to discover new creators more easily. That'd be nice. But
Mm.
otherwise, I genuinely don't know. I'm not very smart with that sort of stuff, so I have no idea. I'm just vibing with whatever they give me.
Right. So, as someone who does this a lot and it just will not shut up about it, is merch something you want to try out soon, or do you want to continue to grow your audience before you ever even try and dip your toes into that?
Mm. I mean, I don't know. Like I love merch. Okay, I'm a big merch enjoyer. I'd love to have a Ghosty Says Boo hoodie or whatever. So it's something I've been looking at. I don't think I'd do it anytime soon, or at least like have a big release anytime soon. If anything, I can see maybe just having like some t-shirts and hoodie designs out that are just kind of always out and always there. Um, but yeah, I think it'd be a while just because it does cost a lot of money to design that sort of stuff. So we'll see. I don't know. But I definitely want to have if not for me, like I want to have a Ghosty Says Boo hoodie, man. Like that sounds really nice to me. That'd make me happy. So we'll see. I think it's in the books at some point. I do want to do it. But it might be a while before it's anything big.
Okay, when you said Ghost's Boo hoodie, the first thing I thought of was like the icon that Bobblebee made for you, but embroidered.
Ooh, wait, that's such a good idea.
You might
Dude,
need to knock on Bumblebee's door. Just saying.
yeah, honestly, thank you.
Right. So you're currently balancing college with content creation as of this recording. Do you plan to have one uh, or the other overtake your time?
Um, I don't I try to balance it. It's an interesting process to try to do that. Um, yeah, I try to keep it balanced because I very much I'm a nerd. I like learning. I like college. So I do value that very much, but also I value content and people here. So I try to keep them from one overtaking the other because they both make me happy and they're both very, very important. And I'm gonna be in school for a long time. So, I kinda have to value that. So I try to keep a good balance. I don't always succeed. Yeah, I've got a lot of examples of that, but it's a
But you try at least.
I try and I haven't failed any exams yet because of it. So you know what? That's what matters.
Okay. So
Mhm.
let's get these final questions out of the way because there's only like three more questions I want to ask you, and we
Okay.
should be good to go from there. Right. Did you ever think you'd ever get this far? Like at all?
No, I did not. Uh, the first like I feel like if you told young Ghosty, 12-year-old Ghosty making, Minecraft videos with Bandicam back on hypixel.net, that, eventually she'd be here, playing with so many cool people, and just getting to know a wide variety of creators. I don't think she'd believe you, to be perfectly honest. And even when I started as Ghosty Says Boo and hit, start streaming for the first time, it was just something I was doing for fun, and it still is. I never thought that I'd get quote unquote this far. I don't know how I'm here. I still don't know how this happened. But there's still like a long way to go, a lot of opportunities that I want to have, and people, I want to get to know. So I don't know how I got here, but I know there's farther to go, and I'm really excited to know that that could be a possibility because I didn't even think that would be a possibility, a year ago.
Okay. So, do you ever see yourself retiring at any point in the far future?
From content? No, I don't think so. I mean, in the far future, probably, especially as I get a job or whatever. But I don't think I ever really want to fully stop it because it's something that's very much a hobby of mine. And I'm a big believer in going after what makes you happy. So,
Mhm.
no, I think is the easiest question. Hopefully not.
All right, and the final, very final question: any advice you want to give to newer content creators that might be listening?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I know this is kind of basic, but it bears repeating. Just that go for the opportunities that you don't think you're gonna get. If you see this really cool thing and you're like, "There's no way, I'm gonna get into that," whatever. Go for it anyways. You never know. The worst thing that could happen is that you don't get into it and you can move on. So go for those opportunities. Talk to the people you're kind of afraid to talk to. And just go after your goals and your dreams. And it's very cheesy, but it's true. Like you go after what you want and eventually you'll get there. So keep that in mind.
With all of that said, here we are at the end. Thank you very much for coming on to the show, Ghosty. It's been an honor
Thank you
having
for
you.
having me.
Now, what I usually do at the end of these is that I open up the microphone for the person I'm interviewing in question, to self promote. So,
Oh gosh, self promotion. Twitch.tv/Ghosty says boo. Follow me, or Twitter, I guess. Ghosty says boo with the underscore because someone stole the original name. But that's all I've got.
people who steal other, like people who have like usernames that you want from like the early 2010s, I'm
I
going to drop kick
know.
all of you. I swear to
Honestly, and they
God.
never post anything. They never post anything, but no, they have. It's theirs.
Twitter, I hate you.
Ugh.
Twitter, I hate you. Whatever.
Oh,
And as per usual, I am meta64 at youtube.com/meta64 was taken and twitter.com/meta64 was taken. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And by the way, by the time this podcast comes out, I believe it's Saturday, October 8th. By the time this thing's out, I'm currently doing a Pokemon friend lock at Meta64 Deluxe with Ghosty. By the way, she is
hey.
there, so you might want to
Okay.
go. You might want to go watch that. The link to the channel this is streamed on, it will be in the description of this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and you all have a very good rest of your day. Bye.